It's like people don't know how to flirt anymore, and that I find very sad. There's a cultural change around dating. The way that we date is very different now. This generation now is all about optimizing their time, optimizing their fun, shots of dopamine as much as they can. I have a lot of clients that I call serial daters. They just go one date after another. It lasts like a month or two, and then they get bored so quickly, and then you need to jump. Choosing a partner, or not able to choose a partner as well, is a representation of your own internal psyche. That's why it's very interesting. A lot of people just feel alive when you're up and when you're down.
Yeah.
A lot of people will also say, well, when I don't have these ups and these lows, and I'm right in that middle place, it's boring. You miss out on really, really great people. I think when you're in a long-term relationship, you have to redefine what passion is, what it looks like, but mainly what it feels like.
Welcome to the Everything You Are podcast, and welcome to Dr. Nicole Nasr, our guest for today. I'm very happy to have you here.
Me too. This is really cool.
Yeah, and very excited also for this topic. So it's the first time actually that I have a podcast on this topic, and it's the topic that I think people are most interested in. So
Love.
Romantic relationships. And especially romantic relationships for young adults. So relevant for people in their 20s, early 30s.
Sure.
And so just before we get into the topic, a bit of introduction to you.
Yeah.
So you're a psychologist and also the founder of Journey.
Yeah.
Journey is a very cool platform that is.
You're on it. You're a member on it. So I hope it's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm on it, and I love it. I love using it because I feel like it's not a platform where you feel like you're just one person and no one really cares about you. But I feel like you really take the time to get to know everyone, to really understand what. So it's a platform for therapists and coaches to connect, to grow, and to also seek support on what they know.
Exactly.
So I feel you really get the time to understand what everyone needs, and to also create workshops, talks that benefit people, that provide value, and to really make the most out of it.
Well, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. And yes, it's exactly what Journey is about, because I really do believe that people who do our profession are very special. There are not a lot of people in the world that decide to become a coach or a therapist. So I have a bit this type of philosophy where I want to take care of the people that take care of other people. And if I can help our members, get their mission and their voice out there, and removing some of the obstacles that a lot of us get to encounter in our profession, especially when it comes to the business side, continuous learning, networking. I mean, you must know this as well, but it's a very, very lonely profession. So creating Journey and just having this type of network for us and a community, I think it's been very rewarding. And we're also very international. So I think there's also an element of learning from other people who have trained in the different modalities, come from different culture. And I'm very grateful for this community that we've built.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to feel like you're a part of a community. You're not just alone doing your thing, but there are also other people that you can communicate, share with.
So absolutely. Really, and just brainstorm with,
Yeah.
So no, I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah. So I will put the link if anyone is a mental health practitioner and they want to check it out. And also for individuals who are looking for a therapist or a coach or a practitioner.
Yes, we have a section on the website that is meant for the public, and this is for people who want to match with a therapist or a coach. We do like a very small questionnaire, because it can also be very difficult to find the right therapist or the right coach. So we have these amazing profiles of therapists, and your profile, by the way, is an excellent one. And I actually often use it as an example to newcomers, just of how people can use their profiles. So whoever wants to match with a therapist or a coach, they just go, they do the questionnaire, then they'll get several choices. If they enjoy your profile, they like you, they feel like they have a connection, a compatibility, they just send you a message, and it's super, super easy.
Yeah, that's great, because I feel also it's hard to find, like you said, the right person, or some people can get confused. Okay, so before we get into the topic, do you want to give a bit an introduction about you as a psychologist, what modalities you use, how you work with people? Just briefly introduce.
Well, yeah, of course. So I trained as a counseling psychologist. I actually first started here at AUB. I did my BA in psychology, which I really loved. And then I think I did the smart thing of taking a year out before going into my master's and my doctorate. And I worked for a whole year in a psychiatric ward for a couple of months and then as an assistant to a psychiatrist. And that really gave me the sort of exposure into what therapy could look like from a medical perspective, but also from a more holistic perspective. And I really do appreciate the psychiatrist that I was working with because he really did have more of a holistic approach to it. And then I went on to London, which is where I'm based today, and I did my master's and I did my doctorate. And in the doctorate, it's interesting because I was talking about it this morning. The type of doctorate that I did really gave us a good base and a good structure for what's to come. So I always describe it as um, it's like a very good first step into what the world of therapy really looks like. So I trained in CBT, I trained in psychodynamic, person-centered, and schema therapy.
Okay.
Schema therapy was more of my calling just because it does integrate these types of approaches really well and it dives quite deep. It's very relational, which is very important for me. But my approach, I would say, didn't change completely, but grew and developed in a very beautiful way when I started doing my own therapy with my therapist. And the approach that she was using was very much around a spiritual approach, a spiritual awakening, very much going into existential questions as well. And that opened my eyes into the type of work that a lot of therapists are actually missing out on. Because yeah, it's great to be able to help people with certain problems that they have, negative thought patterns, going into childhood. These things are very important, of course. However, there's also almost like a layer to the human psyche that these approaches don't necessarily know how to access. So being able to work in a spiritual way, and by the way, when I say spiritual, I never mean religion, I never mean anything external. It really is about creating moments of silences, being able to sit with ourselves. We have all the answers to all of our questions, and we have so much power within. So how do we get to access this power? It's through spiritual work. Knowing how to meditate, breath work, all these different types of tools. So now today, I would say that my approach is a lot more around soul searching. We talk a lot about our mission in life, our purpose, death, because I think you can only understand the purpose of your life when you understand the purpose of death in it. So these are the types of questions that we today navigate. But yeah, this is a very long answer just to tell you that, yeah, I do work integratively, very much around spiritual growth.
Okay, interesting. So you combine different aspects of the work, psychologically, understanding the individual, also spiritually, existentially, and
exactly.
I guess you adapt to the person, what they need in this
and
moment.
You have to, because we're all unique, right? We're all unique, we're all different. That's the power in our work, and this is why the older you become as a therapist, the better you also become, because you get to so much exposure to different types of people and what works, what doesn't, who wants what. And it's very interesting as well, because I have a lot of clients that are truly not spiritual, yet we do work in a spiritual way. We just phrase it in a way that is a lot more digestible for them. So you also have to listen to the readiness of your client. So if you as a therapist are just willing to copy paste what you do with client A, client B, client C, it's going to be very difficult for you to retain clients, because it is all about the relationship at the end of the day. And it is about what the two of you are going to co-create together. And what I have with, at the moment, I'm seeing around 20 to 22 clients per week. What I have with each and every one of my clients is very, very different from the other. There might be some similarities in childhood and issues that they present with symptoms as well. But the way that I approach each and every one of my relationships is completely different. And same goes with my personal life. Same goes with you. The way that we are with our friends is always going to change slightly depending on the person sitting in front of us.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, you mentioned schema therapy, and I feel, but correct me if I'm wrong, I feel schema therapy is really interesting in also understanding our patterns in romantic relationships.
Yes.
Because it can trigger different schema. Can you actually just give an introduction to schema therapy for someone who really doesn't know about it?
Yes. So schema therapy is a combination of CBT, psychodynamic, person-centered, Gestalt as well, and I feel like I'm missing another one, but it really looks at the human as a whole, which is very important. And the way that it actually addresses the human psyche is that we divide it into different parts, and there's something very important that we call sides. And we all have different sides to who we are as people. It talks a lot about the vulnerable child, and then it talks a lot about the healthy adult. And that for me is something that is extremely important in a romantic relationship, because whether we can see it or not, or whether we can even admit it or not, romantic relationships are just a recreation of a lot of the traumas that we have had and finding a way to try and heal these traumas.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some people, and most people actually, will go and find a partner that very often resemble a parent. Sometimes a parent that was severe, a parent that didn't necessarily meet our needs, and are just going to recreate certain patterns that we've had in our childhood into these romantic relationships. So when people sometimes say, like, I feel like I'm the problem, I feel like I'm the common denominator between all of my exes, I'm the type of therapist that goes and says, actually, let's look at that, because that is a viable hypothesis right here, that you are the common denominator here. So why are you always going towards toxic people? What does that say about you? Not about the person that you're matching with. There's something inside of you that is attracted to that persona, to these type of people.
Yeah.
So what is this thing? And schema therapy, I think, alongside different approaches as well, is very good at looking at that, because we have a critical voice, we have a pessimistic voice, we have all these different voices inside our head, and schema therapy finds a very creative way of bringing to life all these different voices. And then, you know, when it taps into Gestalt, I call it Gestalt, I don't know if it's Gestalt or Gestalt therapy, it's chair work basically, where you then start personifying these different sides. So if I have a very critical voice, the healthy adult that is me, that is rational, that is wise, that is very calm, that knows, you know, right from wrong, like just a very healthy parent, you know, someone that you can trust and feel very safe with. This healthy adult sits in this chair. And then in the other chair, you might have the critical voice, or the one that goes towards toxic partner, or the ones that goes towards partners that are very much into taking, or is a people pleaser, whatever.
Yeah.
You put this other person, or, you know, side into a chair, and then you ask them to become live. So you as the client, so let's say as a therapist, I would be sitting here, and then I would ask the client, okay, let's sit in this chair. What is this person saying? What is the critical voice saying? What is the person, the side that takes you into the toxicity?
Yeah.
Sometimes it starts as like, I don't want my life to be boring. You know, it gives me excitement. I love passion. I love this. Okay, so you start a conversation. This is what they're saying. Now come and sit in the healthy adult chair. What does the healthy adult reply to this? Then usually the healthy parent should say something like, but life is not always about the ups and downs. These ups and downs are quite dangerous for you. They're not good. This is your nervous system going up and down, and that's not what we want. I want you to feel safe. I want you to, and safety sometimes is going to feel boring because you're not used to it. And then you ask them to go back, and then there's this conversation happening. So you bring to life these different sides. And in relationships, for me, choosing a partner, or not able to choose a partner as well, is a representation of your own internal psyche. That's why it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And also, like you said, sometimes we are attracted, but we don't know why.
Yeah.
So it's about giving a voice to these different parts of our psyche that play a role, and understanding it, where it comes from, and seeing if there is another way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, so we have these parts of us that can be attracted to people who aren't really good for us, or who don't make us feel good about ourselves, because maybe it reflects something from our past. So unconsciously, we want to repeat that. And the goal of repeating that is to see it and understand it and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you catch yourself
When
in the
you catch
pattern,
yourself. Yeah.
right? The problem with being attracted to the wrong people, there's something very, when we talk about the childhood, there's something about familiarity. And a lot of people sometimes confuse that familiarity means good. Something that feels familiar, actually, a lot of the time, is not good for us. But it's not because we're used to something that we have to keep it in our lives.
Okay.
However, in order not to keep that in our lives, it means that we need to change. And change is uncomfortable. People do not like change. This is the nature of humans. We don't want it. We don't seek it. We want to go back into our cocoon, what feels safe, what we can trust. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, that safety and that familiarity is something that is not very good for us. also, I mean, I know that most of your audience is probably based in Lebanon or has a Lebanese link.
Yeah.
When you also look at the country, when you look at the culture, um, toxicity has always been a very big theme in our culture, in our families. The way that we don't process emotions, the way that it's very much around survival, the way that uh, drama just happens, and you have a lot of families where drama is very much present in their family. And then what children tend to do, or people that come from this family, they tend to recreate the sorts of drama into their own personal lives. Sometimes, and I find this so fascinating as a therapist when you realize how people get so creative in trying to create drama, trying to become jealous for absolutely no reason other than that's what girlfriends are supposed to do. This is what women are supposed to do, become jealous. Or this is what men are also asking, for their girlfriend not to dress a certain way, not to party without them, not to. And you start noticing that, wait, why are we doing that? What's the point of engaging into this kind of behavior other than not having trust and just being part of this like up and down, because a lot of people just feel alive when you're up and when you're down.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that we know also about humans is that we want to feel alive. It's a very exciting feeling. And then a lot of people will also say, well, when I don't have these ups and I don't have these highs, sorry, these ups and these lows, and I'm right in that middle place, it's boring.
Yeah. And I feel also because we watch a lot of movies and it's very always passionate and someone I think about you all the time, and we have this idea that this is love, but then when we experience it ourselves we find that also when it's very passionate it's also very anxious or very toxic or very uncertain.
Yeah.
So, and is this very common to be attracted to people who aren't good for us and then
Very much. And I'll tell you something. It's the nervous system reacting. The nervous system is never supposed to be this high and this low. It's not. However, when the high is so good, you want to recreate it. And as a result of those highs, as little as they are sometimes, because they are so, so good, a lot of people are willing to go through these lows. Now, it's also important to realize that when you start doing this over and over again, a lot of the time, choosing partners that don't necessarily make us feel good about ourselves, criticize us a lot, make us feel like very much unworthy of love or of their presence, is also a reflection of how we feel about us. If I feel like I don't deserve love, if I feel like I don't deserve validation, recognition, that I'm not good enough, I'm not special enough, I'm not lovable enough, obviously I'm going to go and match with a partner that is going to reinforce that message. That's already what I believe.
Yeah.
So always imagine the opposite. If I believe that, and then I'm with a partner that is all about giving me this love, giving me this validation, making me feel like I am more than enough, a lot of the time people are unable to accept that and they break up and they stop the relationship. Sometimes they really, I even say, I use this word like of romanticizing things. By romanticizing things, I don't mean in a romantic way. I mean more like you take something that is bad and unhealthy for you, but you put a twist to it. Like, no, but this person, he or she was not very exciting. It felt very boring. They're too nice. You start putting these kind of words like I'm more of this kind of person, but this person was too, and you miss out on really, really great people that were able to actually give you that kind of safety and that nervous system, just being calmed down. You give that up because it's not familiar. You're not used to that. You don't know what it's like to feel worthy of someone's love and more than good enough. You don't know what that feels like. So when someone gives that to you, your unconscious mind goes, no, this feels too weird. I don't like it. We don't know how to behave when things are that good. Go somewhere else.
Is it possible to be in a healthy relationship but also have passion, so have a balance?
Yeah. You just learn. I think when you're in a long-term relationship, you have to redefine what passion is, what it looks like, but mainly what it feels like. And I think the passion that you have at the beginning of a relationship, which is a bit this kind of lust, when you can't get enough of a person, when you just want to be with them all the time, you want to call, you want, like literally, you just want to be stuck together all the time. That is a very short-lived period, and it's supposed to be short-lived.
Yeah.
I think it's a complete delusion to think that this is how it's supposed to be all the time. This is not to say that you're not going to experience the same sort of feeling, just at a different depth. And that's the beauty. I have a lot of clients that I call serial daters. They just go one date after another, after another,
Okay.
after another. And sometimes, these like dates or people that they date, it lasts like a month or two, and it's like you always see the pattern. It's like there's so much excitement. The flirting phase is so cool. They're really into each other. Then the sex is also amazing, and they go like through this phase, and then they get bored so quickly, and then they need to jump into another relationship and another and another. Why does that happen? Because usually the person that engages in that kind of behavior doesn't have the ability to go deep with one person. So what they do is that, and that is also a reflection of their inability to go deep within themselves and to really sit with like the depths of our emotions. So what they do is that I experience a relationship. This is how much I can go deep in this relationship. I experience it in a month or two because that's the surface that I know how to cover. And then I'm blocked. I don't know how to access this. It's boring. I don't really like her anymore.
You get excuses.
Yeah, you get excuses. You start noticing silly things here and there. Oh, okay, she wore this, she said that, he did this, and then you jump into the other one.
Okay.
And then you experience the same thing, and then you jump into the other one. Whereas long-term relationships, you go and then you dig, and you dig together, and you dig together. And what you don't realize is that as you dig, what you start finding out is even more enriching, more exciting, more beautiful, more euphoric, really, than having to jump from one place to another. And by the way, I'm saying this as someone who has been in a long-term relation. Like I've been with my husband for 13 years now.
Okay.
So you start realizing how to navigate the depth. And there have been literally moments, literally just in this last year, where I've said like, how can I love this person even more than I did last year and the year before? Like, how is that even possible? And I remember a friend of mine was like, wait till you have kids. When you see your husband becoming a father, you'll love them even more. I genuinely started crying. I was like, please, like my heart can't take it anymore. Like, love this person even more than that. Like, how is that even possible? But you realize that it is, and it is a lot more rewarding than that jump from one person to the other.
And I feel like this, I don't know if you see this with your clients, but this is even more common now with the way we are living. Like everything is fast, everything is, okay, I get bored, I go to this other thing. Like with social media, everything is quick and short.
Yeah.
And like you said, so it's unfamiliar to actually stay on one thing and go through the challenges, maybe it's boring at some point, but still stay with it. So like you said, it's not familiar, maybe because of our childhood and also our lifestyle now.
It's not, and it's actually worrisome to think about the generations to come, because I think, and I don't know how old are you? Remind me.
26.
26. So you and I are amongst like really the last generation that grew up without social media, internet, tablets on our hands. It's going to be very, of course, I can say this is going to be very interesting as a therapist to see this, but as maybe a future parent or just another human, I find this to be very worrisome to see where it's going, because people have become extremely impatient. And for you to grow something, for you to dig deep, for you to grow a relationship that is beautiful, that is solid, it takes patience, it takes time. It takes moments where you're just like, screw this, I don't want any of it anymore, I'm fed up. And realizing that, okay, wait, is there something for me to build here? Is there a rupture here that we can heal together? And the work that you have to put into a relationship. However, that is not to say that people should stay in unhealthy relationship and bad relationship. I also look at our grandparents and our parents' time where divorce was really not encouraged, separation was frowned upon. There was a lot of relationship that actually should have ended up in divorce. And many unfortunately didn't, and people felt like their whole lives passed by and they were unhappy for years, and domestic violence, I mean, you name it. So many problems that stem from that. But if a relationship is good, but we as individuals we come with our own insecurities. We don't necessarily know how to be together. That's something else, and that needs work. And work needs patience.
Yeah.
Patience is something that you, it's a skill, right? And it's a skill that you develop and that you nurture. How are we nurturing this in today's time? We're not.
Yeah, we need to do even more effort to do that.
A lot. And when you look at, like, I always say this, like, even if you're unhappy with a job, a lot of the younger generation, they change jobs. Unhappy in the major, they change major. Unhappy with a piece of clothes, you change it, you move on. You move on very quickly because there's a lot of option.
Yeah.
And I think that the online dating scene, like dating apps, sorry, have really changed the dating game as well.
Yeah.
And no one has ever prepared us for this. Really, no one. Because, and there have been studies, there's a really, really good study actually that shows how the more you spend time with a person that you have feelings for, the more attractive they become to your eyes. And I was thinking about this with dating apps, how there is literally no time for you to develop anything for a person until you start seeing their attractiveness. You have a profile, you have maybe a couple of pictures here and there, and you have a split of a minute to make a decision whether you're attracted to this person or not.
And I feel also we think that we have so many options, but it's not really the case. But we have this impression that we have so many different options.
That's why I think people have to be very clear about what's their intentions. Like, because it's also fine to just want to have fun and to just want to experience and just want to date and have situationships. Like, that is also completely fine. And I actually encourage people, especially the younger adults, even late teenagers, to really experience a bit of that. Because that's also part of our own sexual development, and it's important to be a bit out there and really not to shame this phase of teenagers and young adults wanting to explore a bit more. It is important. But when you look at the choices or the options that you have to have fun, there are plenty. If you look at, options to just maybe, have like a bit of a situationship, there are plenty. But the pool gets narrower and narrower as you want something that has more quality. But that's also the beauty of it. Is that you have to find, whether it's your person or the couple of people in this world that are compatible with you. That's the beauty in it as well. I can also understand when you're in your mid-30s, you haven't found that person yet, how discouraging it can sometimes feel. But there is a lot of it can be a very fun experience if you know how to not take it personally. If you know that there's something called like a divine timing, that your time will come, your person will come, and you will just feel it instantly when that happens.
Okay, how do you know? Do you have maybe a question that you can ask yourself or a tip to know if you are saying no to a relationship or someone out of excuses or laziness or fear of unfamiliarity, or if really this is not something that is for you?
It's a very good question, and it's a very complicated question, because that is something that comes up very often in therapy with my clients, and that is something that is going to take a lot of space in our sessions, because it's a very thin line, and especially as a therapist, you also have to be fair with your clients at times when you go, all right, like, I don't want to push, I don't want to encourage them, or I don't want to have them work on their insecurities, on their own projections, when it's not the case. It's actually really, they're just not compatible. There's no sexual attraction here and there. But I'll give you an example. Like, I have a couple of clients that will tell me, like, I'm attracted to this guy. I really enjoy like being with them and around them. And the conversation is really fun and all. But like, they come from a certain family, or I don't really like their lifestyle, or I don't know, like, they'll give me like something about their physical appearance and all. And that's when you go, okay, wait, we have to reevaluate what is important. So I always start with, what's the goal here? What do you want? Where are you in your life? Forget about this person that you're dating. What do you want? Then the person, my clients usually tell me, I actually want to be in a relationship. I want a partnership. All right. What does it mean to be in a partnership? Let's dissect what a partnership really means to you. My goal in these moments is to always show them how what you desire is based on ABC, but what you're now basing your decision on is based on DF.
Okay.
And you as the client or the person looking into this, you need to realize that you have to be congruent. It has to overlap, meaning that if I'm looking for a partnership, if I'm looking for one of those relationships that we're together, we're building together, it's like the kind of partnership where it's like this, then you have to understand that what you need, the ingredients that you need in order to create that, are a great conversation, is a great chemistry, is an ability to like see life more or less in the same way, have very similar values, feel this kind of like this desire to like be with this person and to see their potential in your life and in their lives. But I also have clients that have generally told me, and I really do respect their ability to say this, that have literally said, listen, I'm I'm not necessarily looking for this partnership that we're going to build and climb mountains together. No, but I'm looking for a companion, someone that I can share my life with, I can have children with. We can have a bit of these like independent lives and blah blah. All right. Well, if that's also what you're looking for, because very often, and this happens when clients get a bit older as well, where they have a very good job, they have a good house, they have a really good setup, and they want the extension of that setup. So they want the family, they want the wife, they want that kind of addition to their adventure. Fine. Partnership that are amazing but are not meant for everybody, and that's fine. But then if you're looking for this, I understand now you wanting to pay a bit more attention to physical appearance, perhaps, pay a bit more attention to the fact that this person is now maybe very ambitious, that they're happy to take care of you and the household, and that's also fine. But you have to start with, what's your intention? What is it that you want in your life? And then from there, you start looking at the behavior.
And what if you think you want something, but actually you want this out of fear of something unfamiliar, for example, or because, I don't know, I want this person who's the same social class as me, but that's because I'm scared my parents will disapprove. So I think I want this, but actually this is not really what I want or what would be best for me.
And this for me is like, this is why I said relationships become it's like a symbol of so many other things. Okay. So for me, when you give me this example, the first thing that I think of is, all right, this has nothing to do with the partner that you're going to choose. Something inside of you absolutely needs the validation of your parents, of your society. Why? Let's dig into this. Why is this important? And then my job as a therapist is to empower my clients and to make sure that not to have them become against their parents or anything like that. It's never that, but it's for them to become so confident and so sure of themselves and their own decisions that even if other people disagree with it, they're okay with that. They can be okay with the disagreement of other people, and they know where to put the limits. So also, it's very important to look at the evolution of a family. Yes, you start as a child of two parents. As you grow, there's a separation that needs to start happening. If you look, I mean, and I've said that to many clients who wanted partners that the parents didn't want. I mean, I think it's a bit severe what I'm going to say, but your parents are not going to be around in 20, 25 years. 20, 25 years, it's you and your wife and your children. Who do you want to be with? What type of life do you want? And we can't have the older generation make decisions for the younger generation, especially when it comes to that. Now, if parents see that their children are choosing partners that are not good for them, that are toxic, that what they co-create together is not a beautiful result, please feel free. I mean, if anything, it's your job to come in and say no. But when parents say no because they don't come from the same social class or they don't have XYZ, and so what? Isn't that also part of our life lesson, to learn how to accept other people, to learn to actually open up our heart, to be more compassionate, to be not judgmental? If your son or your daughter fell in love with someone and both of them, I say it again, are going to co-create something that is so beautiful, what does it matter?
Yeah. So also accepting that you need to do things differently than what your parents want you to do. I feel like this is a theme also of when you become an adult, when you do your own choices. It can be hard, or it can come also with guilt of doing something differently than what is expected of you.
I have a client who I used to see years ago, whose parents, they really wanted her to find someone who had like a good financial background, who could really take care of her, and she ended up finding someone who was very hardworking, would not rely on parents for financial aids because the parents were in a very difficult situation, basically in a very different place than what the parent wished for. The first part was to also for my client to understand and stop being angry with her parents, to understand why are the parents saying this.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a lot of the times parents project what they didn't have and they want it for their children. You know, I want to give my child this because I didn't have that. Well, first of all, that's wrong, because who told you that your child needs what you need, right?
Yeah.
So there's, first of all, having to look into this. Why are parents like this? But then number two is for parents also to understand what you wish for is an easier way, is an easier life. And that's not a bad wish that we want for people. But at the end of the day, what matters is, because your daughter could also end up with a very rich person that is going to financially be there for them, but have a terrible relationship where there's no love, there's no respect, there's no co-creation, there's no building together, there's no partnership. There's someone who has it all already. You just come in, you do your thing, but it can be very replaceable as well. So for me, and at some point we had a session with the parents as well, where it was very important to explain to the parents that what really matters is the partnership. What really matters. And then I gave them as an example because they had an amazing relationship. Yeah. And they had an amazing partnership where the finances went up and down, but the two of you stayed together. You went through it together. That's what marriage is about. That's what life is about. This is what a relationship is about. And your daughter is about to do the exact same thing. So you also have to be encouraging of that. And I say this, a lot of time people focus on the wrong things when it comes to a relationship. Money, houses, beauty, all of that can fade within seconds. What is left? When all of that goes away, what is left? And that's what you need to focus on.
Okay. And so a big part of this is really understanding what it is that you want, what comes from really what you want, and also what comes from other people's expectations, how to deal with that, also from unhealthy patterns that you have, etc., like we said in the beginning.
Yeah.
So let's say you realize that what you want is not what you're attracted to, and you want to change that. How do you do that? Do you necessarily have to go back into your past and into the source of the problem, or what are different ways?
I mean, listen, my answer a lot of the time is yes, just because, I mean, it's my line of work, right?
Yeah.
Like I see the benefit of going within and trying to see. When you have someone that is a people pleaser, it's very difficult for them to say no to. There's something that we call unhealthy compatibility. So, I mean, no one calls it like that. I call it like that. Unhealthy compatibility. So unhealthy compatibility is when two people, they seem to be very compatible, but what they again create once that compatibility gets there is very unhealthy. So you have a lot of the time people that are givers that get attracted to takers, and then that creates just a completely this imbalance, right? And then you have to look a bit into this. Okay, I'm very much attracted to this person. This is not what I want, but I'm very much attracted to these people. All right, why? Why are you attracted to people that present most of the time very similarly? What is it about them? Is it because, again, they're recreating something that feels very familiar to you?
Let's say, for example, it's because this person's dad was this way.
Masalan, for instance.
Okay. So they realize this, but still it doesn't go away. What to do?
So realizing something is, of course, it's a very big part of it. But then it's the healing of it, right? So if it's because, so let's give the example that someone is compatible or is in a relationship with someone that is like their dad, but the element of the dad that is coming up is that maybe the dad is very much of a taker, needs a lot of attention, everything is about them and all of that, and then this person goes into a relationship with a partner that presents very similarly to the dad. Unfortunately, a lot of the times we're trying to recreate something here. Okay. So we dive into this. What's the people pleasing here? Why is it important for you to give that platform to this person? Because it's the only way that I know how to be loved. This is usually the conclusion that we reach.
Okay.
The only way that I know how to be loved is to make sure that I give, and I give, and I give, and I give.
Okay.
So then this is where the healing has to happen, where this person has to understand and start, this is why self-love is so important. Start realizing that they are lovable despite the fact that they do things for other people. And this is a very tricky part, especially for people pleaser, because people pleaser are not risk takers. They're not willing to risk, stop giving, just to see what's going to happen. Because and I have this with, obviously, as you can imagine, a lot of clients, but also a lot of friends who have a very difficult time with boundaries. And their biggest fear is that if I put a boundary, these people that I love and love me are going to disappear and they're going to stop. Now, when you have quite toxic people around you and you start putting boundaries, what's going to happen is that they're not going to like it. Let me tell you this from now. They're not going to like it. There's going to be a very big reaction. And usually they will resort to manipulation, to put you down, to do all of that. And your job in that specific moment, that's the work, is to stand on your own 2 feet and to have this internal voice going, you are lovable. You are lovable. Even if this person disappears, it's okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to survive this. And you'll find the right people that are going to love you just for you, despite the fact that you do not offer them anything, just for you. But that's the work. So yes, realizing these things is important, but the work itself is having to challenge yourself, is having to dare to do things differently. It's having to dare to change, to break a pattern that you've engaged. I have clients that are in their 50s and have been in their specific patterns for more than 30 years. And now, just now, in this last year, we're trying to break things. Let me tell you, it is a hell of a job. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But when the will is there and you want to change and you want to do things differently, and first of all, you start realizing that you deserve better, that you deserve for your nervous system to be fine, that you deserve to be loved simply for who you are, for your authenticity and all that, that's when the real change happens.
Yeah.
But for that to happen, you have to start believing that first.
Yeah, and I think it's important, like you said, to realize that it takes time also.
Yeah.
It's not, because I feel we see a lot of content also on Instagram, like, no, stop doing this, 3 weeks, I don't know, things that simplify it a bit.
Yeah.
And no, it's actually not that easy if you had a pattern for a long time to actually change it. And there are many things that can come also with that.
I give this example very often, how you have to imagine your brain, when you've been doing things over and over and over again in the same exact way. There's something that we call a neural pathway.
Yeah.
So the brain has been using that same pathway every time. So let's give the example of a forest. There's a forest and there's someone that has walked the same path over and over and over again. At some point, you'll see the path, right? So the brain very easily knows what path to take because it's already drawn. When we're creating change, we're going, as you go down this path, we're stopping there and we're like, no, don't go down here. You have to find another way, more around this. So the person the first time has to turn around and be like, okay, but like there's no path. So like you have to walk up branches, it hurts, it's uncomfortable, you don't see, you might get lost, blah, blah. But the whole point is that then you have to do it again and again and again and again until that pathway starts forging. And the other one, because you stop using it, plans start growing again and it starts disappearing. That's why change is so important. And this is why it's all about consistency. You have to do it over and over again. This is also why when you're in therapy and you're also doing therapy consistently, so once a week, that's literally what we do, is that we keep on reinforcing that message over and over and over again. At the beginning, you won't notice that this is what you're doing. This is what we call automated. Like you're just on autopilot. That's just what you do. But then when you start raising awareness, you're like, oh, whoa, I've been going down this path so automatically. Now I know that this is what I do. This is the first step. Second step is like, I now need to jump in the moment that I'm doing it, not as I'm about to do it. It's harder. But as I'm on that path, I need to realize the second step is, oh my God, I'm doing the thing now. So that the third step is like, as I'm about to start doing it, I have to fight that urge to go down that road and to do the change.
Yeah.
This is why I always say, like, working on ourselves is hard. But once you do and you do it properly, it's life-changing. It really, really is.
Yeah. And like you said, when you understand why you do things also, it's easier to see it, to accept it, to change.
Yeah.
Also, I feel, like we said, we mentioned a bit, that our generation is finding it difficult. I feel it's struggling in romantic relationships. I see this from my personal experiences, like with people that I know, but also statistics show this. People are married much older. Many people are single. Even I think young adults are having less sex than in previous generations, and are less willing to go into relationships. Is this something that you see in your practice, in differences with people that are younger than others? And what do you notice? What are ways of thinking that are stopping us, or the biggest obstacles?
The biggest obstacle is that there's a cultural change around dating. The way
Mm,
that we date is very different now.
mm,
I can't remember the last time that I've had one of my younger clients tell me a story about someone that they met in a bar, or through like a friend, or and it started organically like that. There's already for me like a bit of an unnatural dating, like
yeah.
arrangement that,
Mm,
that is already happening. So, and that behavior in itself has completely changed the game of what dating is. When you go on a platform and you are asked to pick someone solely based on a few prompts and a few pictures, that already tells you everything that you need to know about where
mm,
dating is that, and the swiping for me, it's like the how fast you can do, how fast you can go through it. Like, so this pattern that you have of holding a phone and swiping and looking at a specific face, no, 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 okay, yes, yeah, doing that, you then replicate that in real life as well. So
mm,
so this is what I meant before by relationships. I'm not talking about situationship. I'm not even talking about like casual dating or casual sex. Proper relationship, they take time. It's like you have to start um, enjoying the different parts and discovering the different parts of this person sitting in front of you. And only
mm,
when you do that, you can start making more of an opinion about the person.
yeah.
Knowing that when you start dating, you never really see the true image of this person right at the beginning.
Mm,
It's like it's like when someone wants to advertise a product, they never tell you what's wrong with the product. They only
yeah.
show you like what's great about it. And then as you start using it more and more and more, okay, you start realizing that there are, but then you work it out,
Mm,
right? Now, the problem is that you still have some people that are within this mentality. But the problem is that you're entering a pool of other people that have changed their mentality when it comes to this. You
mm,
said it right at the beginning, where this generation now is all about optimizing their time,
mm,
optimizing their fun, um, shots of dopamine as much as they can, going, being very, very fast, not very patient.
mm,
I was the other day, like I saw someone on the train in London getting frustrated at ChatGPT because like it wasn't generating the answer as quick as they wanted. And I'm like, does this person realize that like couple of just a year ago they
they
would have
couldn't.
had to do like a massive research to get that
Mm,
information. They would have had to wait like maybe for a medical report like a couple of days to get
mm,
answers. Just look at how ungrateful we've become,
mm,
even with like technology, and like the moment that you make us taste something and how fast it can be and how rewarding it can be in a very short amount of time, it's very difficult to go back.
yeah.
And I do describe it as a drug. It is it
Mm,
it acts exactly in the same way as drugs. So when you tell me about dating today, um, there's something around like how you truly approach it. And people, it's almost like they've also lost a bit their game. It's like people don't know how to flirt anymore, like
yeah.
in proper ways. Like even the flirting game has completely changed. And that I find very sad,
Yeah.
because there was so much that I mean, you also see it in animals, like flirting within animals, like they're around each
Yeah.
other,
Like
like this,
birds.
the birds,
Like dance.
exactly. You start
Mm,
smelling yourself, like there's something so important about that phase, and
mm,
that for me has completely been lost.
yeah.
I have a friend the other day, like she was on a dating app and she matched with a guy, and she's like, "What do I say?" And I literally didn't know what to say. I was like, I because I mean I met Alex before dating apps even
Mm,
existed, so I never had to really use them. But at some point, she was like, "What do I say?" And I'm like, "How do you even start a conversation around that?" And I was like, "I don't know. Hi, how are you?" She's like, "No, no, no. Like we don't say stuff like that." And then he said something like, a comment about the picture and all of that, and I was like,
mm,
interesting. Like this is how people do it now. Whereas like I met my husband in a bar and like it was like flirting for hours, and then
yeah.
you're left because also Instagram was not out, or Instagram had just started. You're
Mm,
left with like a lot of envies. There's a game that you
mystery.
have to play. Yeah, there's a
Mm,
game that you have to play a little bit. And I
mm,
know people are like, I don't want to play games, but that game, I'm calling it a game. You can call it whatever.
mm,
It's very important. It's
mm,
very to desire and to be desired is extremely important.
yeah.
Where is this in today? Where is this on dating apps to desire and to be desired? It's hard.
Yeah, and like you said, to give the time, to take time to not speak to this person for a while, then keep the
yes
thing. Yeah.
But then also don't forget, ghosting is such a big reality, and that has affected a lot of people's self-esteem. And I deal with it all the time with clients who are like, I'm constantly rejected. And then at some point I've had to have sessions where I'm like, all right, show me your profile. Like, let's look at it. And then you see their profile and they really don't pay attention to the aesthetic. They don't care, picture like they're far away. I'm like, and I'm sorry, you're not playing the game. The whole dating app is all about appearances. So do you realize who you're competing with? You're competing with other people that like are probably half naked, putting pictures, faces, but I'm like, you can't take that personally. Someone is going to reject you. Yeah, you spoke a couple of times. Maybe they met you one time and they decided to not call you for another date or to ghost you out of text messages. You cannot take that personally. It is not a personal thing. And people have learned to take everything personally. That's why it's become so hard as well to put yourself out there, to be open to receiving some sort of attention from people. We're always afraid of being rejected.
Yeah, and also because you can be rejected so quickly, or you feel like, yeah, they can stop texting me, or they can find someone else, like replaced. Also, you can be replaced so quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the whole dynamics around dating that changed. Do you feel like women are having a harder time than men, or no?
No, not necessarily.
No, men as well.
But it's interesting because men as well, both men and women are having an equal difficult time at this whole dating thing. What is very interesting is that both will also act in the way that, so I'll give you an example. Like, both of them, men and women, say that they want to find a partner. Men and women will go on dating apps. Men and women will get rejected. And then men and women will get an interest from someone and they will act like the person that they fear they will act with. I'll explain again.
Yeah.
So what I mean is that they'll reject in the way that they get rejected. And then they come and they complain about how they were rejected.
So I got ghosted, so I'm going to ghost this person.
And it's not so I'm going to go. It's like I got ghosted, and then they date someone, and then they ghost this person. I'm like, do you see how you're doing exactly what other people are doing? Do you see how this is? And this is the part that I'm like, this is so weird. It's so weird that like people in that dating scene have no problem doing to others what they don't want people to do to them. And that I find, and this is why, when you're in therapy, like it's so easy for your therapist to be like, what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? You literally just complained about that like 2 months ago. And we had like 2 sessions around like the self-esteem and the how personal it felt for you to reject. Why are you doing this? That's your chance of being the different person on these apps and to do things differently. But dating apps and dating today gives you permission to have very low standard when it comes to like etiquette of dating and of how to be with like in a relationship with other people. And that is sad. That's actually very sad.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Okay, so knowing this, just to end this conversation, that this is a new environment of dating and you have all these dynamics and all these issues also that can come with it, what are maybe 2, 3 advices that you can give to young adults or older people who are navigating this new environment of dating?
If you're not ready to be rejected, don't be on dating apps.
Okay.
If you don't have the self-esteem to take a rejection, if you're unable to not take things personally, don't be on dating apps. It's literally as simple as that, because you will be rejected. People will ignore you. You will be ghosted. That's the nature of that game. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, everything that is of quality takes time and takes patience. It's very easy to be in any relationship. It's also very easy to get married to anybody. Believe me, I've seen people get divorced after 2-3 months of marriage and they've been dating. It's very easy to do that. What's very difficult is to be in a long-term relationship where both of you want to be in this long-term relationship and you constantly need to work on it. And when I say this, it means that you as individuals are going to change and you're going to evolve. And it's always being in communication with one another, knowing, okay, what is not working here? How can we get this better? What is my stuff? What is your stuff? What is the stuff that we've co-created together? How do we communicate? Fight. It's important to fight. People think that no, we shouldn't fight in a couple. If we're fighting, I mean, everything in moderation, obviously, but fighting is another form of communication. That stuff, it takes time. It takes time to build. So if you want that, if you want the real partnership, if you want the quality, it comes in a package. And in that package comes time, sacrifices. I give this example very often. I think people enjoy it quite well, but it's like you have to imagine that being in a relationship, it's like going to the airport. You go to the airport with a 30-kilo baggage. They go to the airport with another 30-kilo baggage. You go at the check-in, you want to check in together, and the person at the counter is like, okay, great, you can travel. The only thing is that you're not allowed to take 2 luggages. You're only allowed for 1 luggage of 30 kilos. So please go on the side, take one open, buy 1 luggage, and then half of it has to be yours, half of it has to be the other person. And then sit down and start looking at what you have in your own luggage. What is important for you to bring along? What are the things that you can let go of? And this is usually why also the first year or two are very beautiful, but can be very bumpy as well. Because this is the phase where you're negotiating a lot of things. You're negotiating what feels important for you, what doesn't. And also don't forget, the older you get, the more stuff you have in that 30-kilo luggage that feel very crucial for you, very important. I always say that, I started dating when I was 21. At 21, let me tell you, my luggage was very, very empty. So it was very easy for us to be together. What we ended up doing is that we created that luggage together as years went by. So we grew up together. A lot of things we discovered, we experienced for the first time together. So we were able to shape each other a little bit in the form that resonated. This is not to say that it's perfect. This approach also has its downs, right? But the older you get, the more luggage you have, and you really have to negotiate that stuff correctly. So that's also another thing, is that don't expect it to be easy, a walk in the park, that you're going to get everything that you want. There's like 2 people are coming together. You're going to go create something. And that leads me to my third point. Pay attention to the result of you plus them creates. Pay attention to that. It's not because it's working in some kind of way that it means that it's good.
Okay.
Look at what comes out of this relationship. Do you like what you see? Do you enjoy who you are? Do you feel like your nervous system is good and calm? If you sometimes feel, I don't want to say bored, but if you sometimes feel like this feels safe, I feel like I don't really have like something to worry too much about, and we're not fighting that much because they went out and I trust them, and this is good. And I know I'm saying something that seems so obvious, but let me tell you, so many people are like, they'll dismiss that feeling just because they're not used to it, especially people from this country, because of our past, because of how traumatized we are. Familiar is the negative stuff.
Okay.
Safety, good, regulated nervous system is unfamiliar, so we tend to reject that. But pay attention to what you co-create.
And when you say, one last question, because I like this metaphor, when you say that the luggage, you mean positive and negative stuff?
Who you are.
It can be like your life goals or your issues or your...
It can be all of that. I have some clients that are like, listen, my family is coming with me. And my family is like 75% of my luggage. They're coming in. I'm not making any sacrifices there. You're going to have to love them. You're going to have to cater for them. You're going to have to blah, blah, blah. And then the other person might say, well, first of all, that's 75% of the luggage. That only leaves 25% for me. And no, like we need to negotiate that. So in real life, what does that look like? Is that in the first year or two, please, I want you to come with me to this dinner. I want you to do this with me. And the person is like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not really into family stuff that much. And then you start fighting. And so, but when you fight, if there's a lot of love and a lot of desire to want to be together, you find a way. But you have to find a way where resentment is not being built. Right? Where you also, this is why, like, you have to let go of things. This is why I gave, but before, when I was telling you, like, you leave a cocoon to create a new one. You can't bring everything with you from that first cocoon. So what are you going to let go of? And that is a tricky part. That's why I say, like, the older you get, the more difficult it is to have to let go of things. And this is also why a lot of people, when they get older, they settle sometimes for people, or the complete opposite, where they're like, you know what, if it's not amazing, great, extravagant love, I don't want it. I'm really good with my own presence. If it's not going to give me the same or more, I don't want it.
Yeah.
And I also respect that very much. Same way that I respect other people that are like, listen, I love my life. I just want to have a family. I just want to have someone, to share some moments with and all of that. Fine.
Yeah, there's no right way of seeing
But
it.
then you agree. Both of you can agree to that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nicole. Is
You're
there anything that you would like to add? Or?
No, I will just say that it's very difficult. Long-term relationships are a very difficult thing, and I think whoever doesn't pay attention to I'm going to say it's difficult because the type of relationship that I strive for is very much of a partnership, where you're very much into each other's lives in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of work. I will also say that I see so many people having jealousy problems, and I will really say this, that 95% of the time it has nothing to do with your partner. This whole jealousy, this lack of trust that people have in others is something that you have to work on.
Yeah.
And I say this really much coming from this culture where I see it so much. The jealousy, the possessiveness, these weird, I don't know, like conditions that you have around how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to feel. I do not agree with it. I think every relationship is different. I think even the same relationship in different phases of their cycle is going to be different and feel different. You make up your own rules. A lot of people have commitment problems. They're so afraid of committing to one person and how that is going to feel.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you do not commit to one person ever, because that person is going to change and you're going to change. So whoever you're committing to, that the whole point is that both of you evolve, and then you re-meet each other and you fall back in love, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Commitment is just thinking that I'm going to be stuck with the same person, the same everything. It's not. If you make a vow to each other to continue growing, forget about marriage, just long-term relationship, to continue growing, to become your best self, to discover new places inside, you will never be with the same person. That's the beauty of it. And I say this, the person that I am today is very different from who I was 13 years ago, 3 years ago even. And the way that I look at my relationship and my marriage today is also very different from before. Things that, 10 years ago, I would have been like, no way, never, it will never happen. If my boyfriend did this, has completely gone out, where I'm like, wow, I really look at things completely differently. That's the beauty of a relationship. So just don't project yourself too far down the line. Am I happy with this person right now? Do I want to be with this person right now? Does this work? Yes, great. I take it to the next step. This is it. You don't have to think too much.
I love this last point.
Yeah.
And I feel like this topic we can speak, we can do like 10 episodes on it. But thank you so much.
Well, if anyone has any questions, I'm always happy to answer them, whether it's on the comment section or DM. I'm always happy to do that.
And I will put the link to Journey for people who want to check it out, either individuals who want to start therapy or mental health practitioners.
Yes.
And they can join the community.
Thank you so much, Camille, and thank you for this.
Thank you.